Alright, any luck this time? Please let me know in the chat if the sound is working. Great! That's wonderful. Okay, well, Shabbat Shalom. I'm so glad we got that figured out. And we are going to get started again on page 10 with Yedid Nefesh. I shared the link to the Siddur in the chat. Feel free to follow along. Yedid Nefesh Harachaman, Yedid Nefesh Harachaman, Meshochav Dach Eretz Ona, Meshochav Dach Ananai Nai Nai Eretz Ona, Yarut Abdecha Kemo Aya Ishtachave Yanai Ananai Nai Nai Muhanara Ishtachave Yanai Ananai Nai Nai Muhanara. Shabbat Shalom, Regina and Nathan and Jay, Marjorie, Hannah, and Eldon. I'm so glad to share Shabbat with all of you with sound as well as video. Thank you to everybody that let me know that you couldn't hear me. We're going to continue on page 11 with Lechu Naranana. Lechu, lechu, neranena, neranena, ladonai naria, naria, letzori sheinu. Lechu, lechu, neranena, neranena, ladonai naria, naria, letzori sheinu. Nekad mafana, betoda, mizmiro, naria, lo. Nekad mafana, betoda, mizmiro, naria, lo. Lechu, lechu, neranena, neranena, ladonai naria, naria, letzori sheinu. Lechu, lechu, neranena, neranena, ladonai naria, naria, letzori sheinu. Continue on page 12. Arba'im shana kut bedor, va'omar to'e levavheim, vehem lo yadu derachai, asher nishbati ve'yapim yavohu al menuchati. Page 13. Yai, nai, nai, nai. Yai, nai, nai. Yai, nai, nai. Yai, nai, nai, nai. Yai, nai, nai. Shiru ladonai, shir chadash. Shiru ladonai, koharetz. Shiru ladonai, bachu shemo, basru miyom leyom, yeshuato, sapru vagoyim kevodo, mivchol ha'amim nifleotav, ki gadol Adonai u'lameyo norahu. Al kol Elohim, nai, nai, ki kol Elohei ha'amin elelim, va'Adonai shamayim asa, hod ve'hadar lefanav, oz בחצרותיו, עיני השתחוו לאדוני, בהדרת קודש חילו מפניו כל הארץ. אמרו בגויים אדוני מלך, הבטיקון תבל בעל תימו, ידין עמים במישרים, ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ. יהי רב היה ומול מאוד, יעלו שדי בכל אשר בו, אז ירננו כל עצי ההר לפני אדוני, כי בא לשפוט הארץ, תשפוט תבל בצדק, ועמים באמונתו. Page 15. Adonai malach tagel haaretz. Oavei Adonai sinura, shomer nafshot chasidav me'ad rishayim yatzilem. Orzaru al hatzadik, kol Yisrael lehev simcha, simchu tzadikim b'Adonai, vehodu lezecher kodsho. Page 17. Mizmor shiru l'Adonai shir chadash, ki niflaot asam, Hoshia lo yemino, zero akosho, hodia Adonai Yeshuato, ve'einei hagoyim hilatzikato, zachar chasto ve'emunato, le'beit Yisrael, rahu kol apsei haaretz, et Yeshuot Eloheinu, hariu Adonai kol haaretz, bitchu ve'ranenu ve'zameru, zamru l'Adonai bechinor, bechinor ve'kol zira, bechatzotrot ve'kol shofar, hariu lifnei hamelech Adonai, yanai 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 Page 19. Adonai malach yirgezu hamim, Moshe kruvim tanu taret. Romamu Adonai Eloheinu v'ishtachavu lahar kodsho, ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. Page 21. And Shabbat Shalom to Jennifer, and thank you for being here. To Sharona and the whole Rachmani family, and to Yochev, Shabbat Shalom. And of course Regina, Shabbat Shalom to you too. Mizmor leDavid, Havul Adonai b'nei Lim, Havul Adonai, Kavod ba'oz, Havul Adonai, Kevod shemo, Yishtachavu l'Adonai. 23, we'll continue with Lecha Dodi. Tonight's melody for Lecha Dodi I picked up from a service I saw on Facebook from a synagogue in the UK. They're called Shabbat Resold. It's a monthly musical Shabbat that happens at a synagogue in the United Kingdom. And because of Facebook and Zoom, I had a chance to hear some of their music. So this Lecha Dodi comes from that service. Lecha Dodi likra Kabbalat B'nei Shabbat B'nei Shabbat nekabela Lecha Dodi likra Kabbalat B'nei Shabbat B'nei Shabbat nekabela Shamor Ishmi'anu el hamiuchad Adonai echad U'shemo echad L'shem u'tiferet L'shem u'tiferet v'litchila Lecha Dodi likra Kabbalat B'nei Shabbat B'nei Shabbat nekabela Lecha Dodi likra Kabbalat B'nei Shabbat B'nei Shabbat nekabela Likrat Shabbat Lechu Benelcha Ki mekor haberacha Merosh mikedem nesucha Sof maaseh b'machshava tchila Lecha Dodi likra Kabbalat B'nei Shabbat B'nei Shabbat nekabela Lecha Dodi likra Kabbalat B'nei Shabbat B'nei Shabbat nekabela. We'll turn to page 25 and we rise as we welcome Shabbat into our homes. Boi v'shalom ateret ba'ala Gam besimcha u'tzohala Tochem u'neh Am segula Boi kala Boi kala Boi kala Lecha Dodi likra Kabbalat B'nei Shabbat B'nei Shabbat nekabela Lecha Dodi likra Kabbalat B'nei Shabbat B'nei Shabbat nekabela. I love that melody, and I was so happy to share it with you. Again, that came from a service in London called Shabbat Resold. We'll continue on page 28 with the end of the psalm for Shabbat, Tzadik Katamar. Tzadik Katamar Yifra Keres Bavanon Yizke Shetu Adonai malach ne'ula ve'esh. Kolo mahim rabim mahadirim mishperei yam adir b'marom Adonai elotecha nemnu me'od leveitana v'kodesh Adonai le'orech yamim. For Mourner's Kaddish, I invite those on chat. If you have somebody who you are saying Kaddish for, please include their name in the chat so I can read it as well. Earlier today was the 5th of Cheshvan, on which we recalled the Yurtzites of Selma Day, Rose Engelman, Andrew Leonard, Ronald Lindner, Jack Mendelson, Didi Quinn, Azizole Saparzadeh, Bernardo Schmidt, Elsie Singer, Alfred Stern, and Max Wunderman. Tonight, we begin the 6th of Cheshvan, on which we recall the Yurtzites of Stephen Grace, Marilyn Harris, Michael Kext, Annie Mosler, Enayat Nahai, Richard Rusikoff, Richard Slivkin, and Michael Unger. For this week, the Yurtzites between the 6th and the 12th of Cheshvan are Shulkat Aldat, Ruth Applebaum, William Bash, Corey Berlin, Yetta Beinenfeld, Andrea Blatt, Fanny Kleiman, Ruhola Kohanim, Ayatollah Danishgar, Haima Danoff, Adina David Bat Revan Tzvi, Richard Dubin, Parvin Famili, Eleanor Fenster, Jacob Fink, Kitty Fischel, Celia Gassmer, Habib Gavahari, John Gatan, Saeed Gudushim, Joseph Gluckstein, Ann Gold, Max Gorlick, Sarah Gold, Stephen Grace, Harry Greenwald, Fanny Gutman, Marilyn Harris, Ray Held, Saul Hertzfeld, Carl Hornstein, Heitman Jaffe, Habib Davahari, Abe Canner, Edwin Kantner, Michael Kext, Munes Korshad, Lillian Krause, Richard Kronik, Gilbert Landau, Ann Lazaroff, Irving Lederick, Isidore Levine, Lillian Lurie, Rose Lutz, Sion Makhani, Yagub Mansouri, Abraham Ore, Annie Mosler, Jacob Mao, Bagam Naamu, Ida Nach, Enayat Nahai, Edward Neubauer, Joseph Novikov, Jacob Paul, Najee Perry, Gerald Phillips, Sal Tanet Rochsar, Sol Rath, Helen Reuter, Oscar Rusikoff, Richard Rusikoff, Martha Schaefer, Beverly Schmeier, Cyrus Shamsi, Flora Simon, Frida Field Simmons, Leo Slivkin, Richard Slivkin, Irving Sorkin, Israel Tuckman, Michael Unger, Sylvia Weber, Samuel Weiss, Davud Yamini, and Bernice Zuckin. I see in the chat we're also saying Kaddish for Meir Ben Natan. Thank you, Nathan. I invite all those in a period of mourning to rise, and we'll say the words of the Mourner's Kaddish together, found on page 30. Yitz Gadal v'yitz Kadash Shmei Rabbah v'yamad yivrach Yerutei v'yamlich Malchutei v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayed d'chol Beit Yisrael ba'agalat v'bizman ka'ri v'imru Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah mevorach v'lam alomei omayad. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitzpa'ar v'yitzramam v'yitnasei v'yitadar v'yitalei v'yithalal Shmei d'kudsha brichu la'ila min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran b'yomah v'imru Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabbah min Shmaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'yomav hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Yochev, I see you're saying Kaddish for Adir Ben Katarina Zichrono Livracha. May his memory be a blessing. Before we enter our evening service, I want to share a few words of Torah. I've been wondering this all week about Parshat Noach. In the story of Noah, after the flood and after the waters recede, it's just Noah and his family on the boat. The animals have all gone off. The birds have flown away. The waters have dried. And the ground is now dry and ready to live on again. Yet Noah stays on the boat. His family stays on the boat. And it takes God commanding Noah. God says, Noah, get off of this boat. The time has come to re-enter the world. And I wonder what was going through Noah's mind. Was Noah nervous after seeing the destruction of the world to go out? Was Noah excited to go out, but just reverent for God? Perhaps Noah was ready to leave, but he really wanted to make sure he was doing this according to God's will. What I've been thinking about this week is the possibility that Noah didn't really know what God wanted. Remember, God had just killed every living creature besides those on the boat in that flood. There weren't any humans except for Noah and his family. And Noah may have had this legitimate question. He might have wondered to himself, does God want me alive or not? Does God want humans to continue on this earth? Does God want me to stay on this boat and die? And Noah got his answer. God said, Noah, get off this boat. Pru or vu. Go and multiply. Go and take care of this world. And I wonder, why was it that God would trust humans again? It didn't work out with Adam and Eve. Didn't work out with Cain and Abel. Didn't work out with Noah and his generation. Kind of worked out with Noah, but not his generation. Why is it that God would want humans back in the world? And the answer that resonates with me this week came from an idea that we spoke about in our last Chassidut class last week, which is that God needs human beings in order to complete creation. The question that we asked in Chassidut last week is, why does the Torah start with a bet? And Levi Yitzchak Miberdichev, the rabbi who we've been studying, said that it starts with a bet because it's open on one side. The bet is closed on three sides, but open on one side. And that open side is ours to complete. We are that last piece that completes creation. What do I mean by this? In nature, the ground gives us wheat. And we can grow the wheat. It grows naturally, grows wild sometimes. But wheat doesn't do much for us. With human beings, we can take that wheat and we can make bread. And through that bread, we can say the words of Hamotzi, and we can bring God into this world in a completely new way. God needs us to complete creation. Each and every one of us adds something special to the fabric of the world. And so if you've ever wondered if, metaphorically speaking, we should get off our boat and go back into the world, and I don't mean this as a statement about quarantine. Of course, it resonates in that sense, and Noah's Ark really does have the sense of quarantine and going out into the world. But even so, even from our homes, with phone calls, with Zoom, the lesson is that God needs us to bring our whole selves to the world. So I'll leave you with that as we go into Shabbat, as we learn the story of Noah this week. Let it remind us that each and every one of us brings something special to the world, and we can't just stay on our boat. So with that, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. I'll invite you all to rise, and we'll begin our evening service with the Baruch Hu, page 39a. Jay, he said, fools give you reasons. Wise men never try. That's a great quote, Jay. Thank you. Yeah. God loves us no matter what. I love that. Okay, we're going to begin together with the Baruch Hu, page 39a. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. You may be seated. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher B'Vrou B'Mchol Ma'avir Yom U'Mevi Laila Ma'avdil Beinam U'Bein Laila Adonai Tzevahot Shemo El Chai V'Kayam Tamidu Lo Chai Leinu Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Hamari Varavim. Ahavat Olam, page 40. Ahavat Olam Shalom. Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu ve'hem negei omaham v'layla v'avatcha tashim mimenu le'olamim Baruch atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael. We join together for the words of the Shema, page 41. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Melecha. אם שמות תשמע את שם נהים בצלם וצנך ובכל דבר שמצאים את הריצה מצויים ומחושת צלם וצלם וצלם יצא בסדר ונצח וחוסר תודה שלום לכם ניתן לך סעת לבד התמים משתח וניתן לכם ואבני בכם השמיים ובין בספר מייתים תקבלו אבל אתם מהר מעל ושם תדרי אלו ואחים השם שרח מתאים ובא יוצא ויפצה ורבן תשמע ותך דבר שגם אני לכם על המדע שמוצא ספיים לשלם ודבר סמת צלם שנצא לפעמים לא נוצר ושיח בצלם ונצאים וספים וזה בו ותותו חלק לאחרים השם זה נמל תזכו Adonai Elohechem Emet. We're on page 43. Emet v'yamanach zovekenu l'kulam v'zom. Jesus amanach yisrael v'nei making same and same ham shem same 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 Umalchuto b'ratzon kiblu aleihem Moshe v'nei Yisrael chanu shira b'simcha rabba v'imru chulam mi chamocha b'helim Adonai Mi kamocha neder bakodesh nohura tehiloto sefele Bachutecha ra'uvanecha bokeh yam lifnei Moshe Ze Elianu ve'yamru Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed Ve'ne'emar kifad Adonai et Yaakov U'kalo mechazak mimenu Baruch atah Adonai Gal Yisrael. Page 45. Hashki vein or show me making look like for some something was ocean much of a wave different from your system in real second fast on cash taking the mata ushmor taytenu voin l'chaim shalom etabe adolam rufosalen sukat shlomecha baruch atah Adonai hapores sukat shalom aleinu belkol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. We rise for the words of Vishamru on page 46. V'shameru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berito Yitzkadash Shemei Rabba B'madirachi Rutei V'amlich Malchutei B'chayechon Uvyomechon Uvchayidecho Beit Yisrael Ba'agala Uvizman Kari Ve'imeru Amen Yehishmei Rabba Mevorach Le'olam Olamei Hamaya Yitzbarach V'yishtabach Vitzvar vitzvar vinasei vitadar vitalei vitalal shemei lekucha brichu le'ila mikol berchata v'shirata tushmechata v'nechemata damiran b'yalma ve'imeru Amen. Before we continue with the silent Amidah, I'm going to close the doors that my children just opened in hopes that we can really have a silent Amidah. The words for the Amidah for Shabbat evening can be found between pages 47 and 52. Please take this time for your own private prayers and reflections. If you've not yet completed your Amidah, please continue to do so at your own pace. Our service continues on page 55. Nope, our service continues on page 54 with Kaddish Shalem and Aleinu. Yitzkara Yitzkara Shemei Rabba Be'amad Livrach Yivtevim Nichmachote B'chayechon V'yomechon V'chaydecho B'Yisrael B'agalav Yizman Kari Ve'imru Amen Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevorach L'olam Olamei Almaya Yitzbarach Yitzbarach Yishtabach Yitzbarach 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 Shemei Lekucha B'richu Leila Mikol Birchata V'shirata Tishbegata V'nechmata Damir Miyama Ve'imru Amen Tika Balto Tona Baltona Choyso Kadvohon V'ishmaya Ve'imru Amen Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya V'chaim Aleinu V'ko Yisrael V'imru Amen Aseh Shalom Yiramav V'yaseh Shalom Aleinu V'ko Yisrael V'imru Amen Aleinu L'shabeach La'adon Hakom La'tetz Gedula L'yotzer Bereshit Shelo Asanu Kigugi Ha'aratzot V'lo Samanu K'mishpachot Ha'adama Shelo Samchokenu Kahem V'goralenu K'chol Hamodam V'anachnu Korim U'mishtachavim U'modim Lifnei Melech Mochei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Okay, ככתוב בתורתך אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. In love, we remember those who no longer walk this earth. We are grateful to God for the gift of their lives and for the cherished memories which endure. I invite all those who are in a period of mourning to rise and will say the words of the mourner's Kaddish on page 58. Yitzkadal v'yitzkadash shmei rabbah ve'amad ivrach yirtei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael Ba'agala Ovizman Kariv Ve'imru Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevarach Le'olam Olamei Omaya Yitbarach Ve'yishtabach Ve'yitba'ar Ve'yitrama Ve'yitnase Ve'yithadar Ve'yitale Ve'yithalal Shmei Dekudsha Brichu Le'ila Min Kol Berchata Ve'shirata Tushbechata Ve'nechamata Da'amiran Be'alma Ve'imru Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shmaya V'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Oseh shalom biramav. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Shabbat shalom, everybody. We are going to part ways in a moment until tomorrow night. You're welcome to join me for Havdalah, followed by our Chassidut class. Havdalah is at 7:30. Chassidut is at 8. And of course, services tomorrow begin at 9 a.m. We look forward to you joining us. Why don't we end today with Oseh Shalom? Mayor and Della, do you want to sing Oseh Shalom with me? Shalom B'Romav, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, Wonderful. Thank you. And Shabbat Shalom, Jennifer. So thank you so much to Regina, to Yochev, to everybody who joined us tonight, to Marjorie, to Jay, to Sharona, and to Nathan, Hannah, Eldon, and I'm so sorry if I missed you. I tried to read everybody's name without repeating. So Shabbat Shalom, and we'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Here's some Hannah and Nathan who live